Hello everyone, welcome to this lesson. In this part of our communication skills course, we're going to focus on a topic that sits right at the heart of professional success, building strong professional relationships. Whether you're working in an office, leading a team, dealing with clients, teaching students, or collaborating remotely, your ability to build strong professional relationships will directly affect your success, reputation, and job satisfaction. Let's break this down step by step with real-life examples, practical language, and clear behaviors you can apply immediately. What do we mean by professional relationships? A professional relationship is not about being best friends at work. It's about mutual respect, trust, clarity, and cooperation. Strong professional relationships are built on clear communication, reliability, emotional intelligence, respect for boundaries, shared goals. When people trust you professionally, they share information more openly, collaborate more willingly, support your ideas, feel safe communicating with you. Trust, the foundation of every strong relationship. Trust doesn't appear overnight. It's built through consistent behavior. How trust is built: doing what you say you will do, being honest even when it's uncomfortable, admitting mistakes instead of hiding them, keeping information confidential. Example: imagine you promise a colleague you'll send a report by Friday. If you send it on time, trust grows. If you can't finish it but you inform them early, trust still grows. If you say nothing and miss the deadline, trust is damaged. Trust is less about perfection and more about predictability and transparency. Active listening. Make people feel heard. One of the fastest ways to strengthen professional relationships is active listening. This means not interrupting, not preparing your response while the other person is speaking, asking clarifying questions, paraphrasing what you heard. Example: instead of saying, "Yes, yes, I understand," try, "So what you're saying is that the deadline feels unrealistic because of the workload. Did I understand you correctly?" This tells the other person, "I'm listening. Your perspective matters. I respect your experience." People feel closer to those who understand them, not those who talk the most. Clear and respectful communication. Misunderstandings destroy relationships faster than almost anything else. Strong communicators say what they mean clearly, avoid vague language, match their tone to the situation, separate facts from emotions. Example: instead of, "This is not good," say, "This section needs revision because the data is incomplete." Clear communication reduces defensiveness, prevents assumptions, builds professional credibility. Emotional intelligence in relationships. Professional relationships are still human relationships. Emotional intelligence means recognizing your own emotions, managing reactions under pressure, being aware of others' emotions, responding with empathy. Example: if a colleague reacts sharply in a meeting, instead of thinking, "They're rude," try thinking, "They might be under pressure." You can respond with, "It sounds like this issue is causing frustration. Let's look at it together." This approach de-escalates tension, protects the relationship, shows leadership maturity. Consistency and reliability. People build strong professional bonds with those they can count on. Consistency looks like responding within a reasonable time, showing up prepared, following through on commitments, behaving professionally even on stressful days. Example: a manager who is respectful one day and aggressive the next creates insecurity. A manager who is calm, fair, and predictable builds long-term loyalty. Consistency creates psychological safety. Giving and receiving feedback gracefully. Feedback is a critical relationship skill. Giving feedback. Focus on behavior, not personality. Be specific. Offer solutions. Instead of, "You're careless," say, "There were several errors in the report. Let's review a checklist to avoid them next time." Receiving feedback. Listen without interrupting. Ask questions instead of defending. Thank the person. Strong professionals see feedback as investment, not attack. Respecting boundaries. Healthy professional relationships respect time, roles, responsibilities, personal space. Example: not expecting immediate replies outside work hours, not oversharing personal issues at inappropriate moments. Respecting decision authority. Respecting boundaries shows maturity and builds long-term respect. Small behaviors that make a big difference. Sometimes, it's the small, consistent actions that strengthen relationships most. Using people's names, saying thank you sincerely, acknowledging effort publicly, giving credit where it's due, checking in, not just checking tasks. These behaviors create a positive emotional bank account with others. Real-life scenario. Imagine two professionals with the same skills. Person A interrupts others, misses deadlines, deflects blame. Person B listens carefully, communicates clearly, takes responsibility. Over time, who do people prefer to work with? Skills may get you hired, but relationships determine how far you go. Final thoughts for you. Dear learners, building strong professional relationships is not about being perfect, charismatic, or popular. It's about being respectful, reliable, emotionally aware, clear in communication. If you practice these behaviors daily, you'll notice something powerful. People will want to work with you, trust you, and support you. And that is one of the strongest advantages you can have in any professional environment. In this module of our communication skills course, we're going to focus on a powerful but often underestimated topic: social intelligence in communication. Think of this lesson as learning how to read the room, respond wisely, and connect naturally with different people in different situations. By the end, you'll not only understand what social intelligence is, but you'll also know how to use it consciously in real conversations, at work, in leadership, with customers, and in everyday life. What is social intelligence? Social intelligence is the ability to understand social situations, interpret people's behavior, and adapt your communication accordingly. It answers questions like, what is really going on in this interaction? How is the other person feeling, even if they don't say it? How should I respond right now to keep the conversation healthy and productive? Social intelligence goes beyond knowing what to say. It's about knowing when, how, and to whom to say it. Simple example. Imagine you're technically right in a discussion, but the other person is stressed or embarrassed. Low social intelligence response. I already explained this. You just didn't understand. High social intelligence response. Let's take a moment and walk through it together. Same information, completely different impact. Social intelligence versus emotional intelligence. You may already be familiar with emotional intelligence. Let's clarify the difference. Emotional intelligence focuses on understanding and managing emotions, yours and others. Social intelligence focuses on navigating relationships, group dynamics, and social norms. You can think of it like this: EQ equals understanding feelings. Social intelligence equals applying that understanding in social situations. Example: you notice a colleague is quiet in a meeting. EQ: you recognize they might feel uncomfortable. Social intelligence: you decide not to put them on the spot and instead follow up privately later. Core components of social intelligence in communication. Let's break social intelligence down into practical skills you can train. Social awareness. Social awareness means noticing what others might miss: tone of voice, body language, group energy, power dynamics, cultural expectations. Example: in a meeting, your manager keeps checking the time. A socially intelligent communicator understands, this is not the moment for long explanations. Instead of continuing, they say, I'll summarize the key points so we can move forward. Context sensitivity. The same words can mean different things depending on where, when, and with whom they're said. Example: saying, this needs improvement. In a private one-on-one, constructive. In front of a group, potentially humiliating. A socially intelligent communicator adjusts. Public setting. Let's refine this together. Private setting. Here's what we can improve. Adaptability and communication style. Socially intelligent people don't use a single communication style for everyone. They adapt. Direct with some people. Gentle with others. Data-focused with analytical thinkers. Relationship-focused with emotional thinkers. Example: two team members ask for feedback. Person A prefers clear instructions. Person B prefers encouragement first. Same feedback, different delivery. Here are 3 specific changes you need to make. You're doing well overall. One area we can strengthen is reading unspoken signals. Much of communication is nonverbal: silence, facial expressions, pauses, hesitation, over-agreement. Example: a client says, "Yes, that sounds fine," but avoids eye contact and responds slowly. A socially intelligent communicator doesn't rush forward. They check in. "I sense you might have some concerns. Would you like to talk about them?" Social intelligence in everyday communication. Let's make this practical with real-life scenarios. At work. Scenario: you have a great idea, but the team is already overwhelmed. Low social intelligence: pushing the idea immediately. High social intelligence: saying, "This might not be the best moment, but I'd love to revisit this when things calm down." Result: you protect relationships and your idea. With customers. Scenario: a customer is frustrated but not aggressive. Low social intelligence: defending company policy immediately. High social intelligence: first acknowledging emotion. "I understand why this situation is frustrating." Only after that do you explain the solution. In leadership. Scenario: a team member made a mistake but already feels bad. Low social intelligence: repeating what went wrong. High social intelligence: let's focus on how we prevent this next time. You shift the conversation from blame to growth. Common mistakes that show low social intelligence. Be aware of these patterns. Speaking without reading the emotional climate. Being technically correct but socially insensitive. Interrupting because you're eager to respond. Ignoring silence or discomfort. Treating all people the same way. Social intelligence is not about manipulation. It's about respect, awareness, and intentional communication. How to improve your social intelligence. Here are practical habits you can start today. Observe more than you speak. Pay attention to reactions, not just words. Pause before responding. Ask yourself, what does this person need right now? Is this the right moment? Ask better questions. Instead of assuming, does this approach work for you? Reflect after interactions. Ask, what went well? What felt awkward? What would I do differently next time? Final thought for you as a learner. Social intelligence is not about being perfect. It's about being present, curious, and flexible in communication. When you develop social intelligence, conversations flow more naturally, conflicts de-escalate faster, trust grows stronger, your influence increases without force. As you move forward in this course, I encourage you to treat every interaction as practice. Notice people, notice yourself, and most importantly, stay open to learning from each conversation. You're not just learning how to communicate, you're learning how to connect. In this session of our communication skills course, we're going to talk about a topic that can quietly but powerfully shape your career: networking skills for career growth. I want you to imagine networking not as selling yourself, but as building meaningful professional relationships over time. If you approach it with the right mindset and communication skills, networking becomes natural, human, and even enjoyable. What networking really means and what it doesn't. Let's start by clearing up a common misunderstanding. Networking is not collecting business cards, sending cold messages asking for a job, talking only when you need something. Networking is building trust-based professional relationships, exchanging value, ideas, and support, staying visible in a professional community. Think of networking like planting seeds. You don't water a plant only on the day you want fruit. You nurture it consistently. Example: two colleagues attend the same industry event. Person A talks only about themselves. Person B asks thoughtful questions and follows up with a helpful article later. 6 months later, who do you think people remember? Why networking is critical for career growth. Many people believe promotions and opportunities come only from performance. Performance matters, but visibility and relationships multiply performance. Networking helps you discover hidden job opportunities, learn from people ahead of you, gain mentors and sponsors, build credibility in your field, increase confidence in professional communication. Real-life insight. Studies consistently show that a large percentage of job opportunities are filled through referrals and professional connections, not public job postings. The right mindset. From taking to giving. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is this: how can I be useful to others? Instead of asking, What can I get from this person? Ask, what can I offer? What can I learn? How can I help? Examples of value you can offer: sharing a useful resource, making an introduction, giving genuine feedback, offering your skills or perspective. When you give first, trust follows. Core communication skills for effective networking. Active listening. Great networkers listen more than they speak. Instead of thinking about what you'll say next, focus fully on the person. Ask follow-up questions. Reflect back what you hear. Example: that's interesting. You mentioned transitioning into product management. What motivated that change? This shows attention and respect. Asking smart, open-ended questions. Good questions create meaningful conversations. Examples: what challenges are you currently working on? What skills do you think are essential in your role today? What advice would you give to someone entering this field? Avoid questions that can be answered with just yes or no. Telling your story clearly, your professional introduction. You should be able to explain who you are clearly and confidently without sounding rehearsed. A simple structure: what you do, what you're interested in, what you're working toward. Example: I work in data analysis, mainly focusing on business insights. Lately, I've been interested in using data for strategic decision making, and I'm exploring roles where I can combine analytics with leadership. Short, clear, human. Networking in different environments. Networking at events, at conferences or workshops. Don't try to meet everyone. Focus on meaningful conversations. Quality over quantity. Practical tip: aim for 2 to 3 good conversations instead of 20 shallow ones. Workplace networking. Networking isn't just external, it's also internal. Build relationships with colleagues in other departments, team leaders, project stakeholders. Example: joining a cross-functional project is one of the best ways to expand your internal network. Online networking. Platforms like LinkedIn are powerful if used correctly. Effective online networking includes personalizing connection requests, engaging with posts thoughtfully, sharing insights, not just achievements. Bad message: hi, I'd like to connect. Better message: hi Sarah, I enjoyed your post on leadership development. I'm exploring similar topics and would love to connect and learn from your perspective. Following up, where most people fail. Networking doesn't end with the conversation. Follow-up is where relationships grow. Good follow-up ideas: thank them for their time. Reference something specific you discussed. Share a useful resource. Suggest staying in touch. Example follow-up message: it was great talking about career transitions yesterday. I really appreciated your advice on building transferable skills. I'm sharing an article you might find interesting. Long-term relationship building. Strong networks are built over time. Ways to maintain relationships: check in occasionally, celebrate achievements, offer help without expecting immediate returns, stay genuinely curious. Consistency matters more than frequency. Common networking mistakes to avoid: talking only about yourself, asking for favors too soon, being inauthentic, disappearing after getting what you need, treating networking as a transaction. Remember, people remember how you made them feel. A simple networking action plan. Here's a practical exercise for you. Identify 5 people you admire professionally. Reach out to one person this week with a thoughtful message. Attend one event or online discussion this month. Follow up with value, not requests. Reflect. What did you learn? Final thought for you. Networking is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being genuine, curious, respectful, and consistent. When your communication skills meet authentic human connection, career growth follows naturally. Take it step by step. You're not building a network, you're building relationships. In this session, we'll focus on a skill that often separates temporary contacts from long-term professional relationships: following up and maintaining connections. Many people are good at meeting others, exchanging business cards, or connecting on LinkedIn. Far fewer are good at what comes next. And that what comes next is where real career and relationship growth happens. I want you to imagine this lesson as a friendly guide that walks with you after the meeting, after the event, and after the first message, because that's where trust is built. Why following up matters more than the first contact. Let's start with a simple truth. Meeting someone opens the door. Following up keeps the door open. Without follow-up, you become just another face they met. Your conversation fades quickly. Opportunities remain unrealized. With effective follow-up, you show professionalism and reliability. You signal genuine interest. You move from contact to connection. Example: you meet a project manager at a conference. You have a great 10-minute conversation. If you do nothing afterward, that relationship ends there. But if you send a short, thoughtful follow-up message, "It was great meeting you at the conference yesterday. I really enjoyed our discussion about agile teams. I'd love to stay in touch." Now, you're no longer just someone they met, you're someone they remember. Timing. When should you follow up? One of the most common mistakes is waiting too long. Best practice timing. Within 24 to 48 hours after the first interaction, while the memory is still fresh, before the connection loses emotional relevance. Example: bad timing. Following up 2 weeks later with, "Not sure if you remember me." Good timing. Following up the next day with a clear reference. "We spoke yesterday about remote team communication challenges." Timely follow-up shows attentiveness and respect. How to write an effective follow-up message. A strong follow-up message is short, personal, purposeful. A simple structure you can always use. Reference the interaction. Express appreciation. Mention a specific detail. Suggest a next step. Optional. Example: email or LinkedIn message. "Hi Alex, it was great meeting you during the workshop yesterday. I really appreciated your insights on customer communication strategies. I'd love to stay connected and continue exchanging ideas." Notice what this message does. It reminds them who you are. It shows you are listening. It doesn't pressure them. Following up without sounding pushy. Many learners worry about being annoying. This fear often stops people from following up at all. Here's an important mindset shift. Following up is not bothering someone if it adds value. Value-based follow-up examples. Sharing an article related to your conversation. Sending a resource you promised. Congratulating them on a recent achievement. Asking a thoughtful question. Example: "Hi Sarah, I came across this article on cross-cultural communication and thought of our conversation last week. I hope you find it useful." This kind of follow-up feels natural and generous, not pushy. Maintaining connections over time. Following up once is good. Maintaining the connection over time is powerful. Strong professional relationships are built through small, consistent interactions. Ways to maintain connections. Occasional check-in messages. Commenting thoughtfully on their posts. Sending congratulations or well wishes. Reaching out when you genuinely think of them. You don't need constant contact. Quality matters more than frequency. Example: every few months. "Hi Mark, I hope you're doing well. I remembered our conversation about leadership development and wanted to check in. How have things been going?" This keeps the relationship alive without pressure. Following up after no response. Silence can feel uncomfortable, but it's normal. People are busy. Messages get lost. Timing isn't always right. How to follow up respectfully. Wait at least 5 to 7 days. Keep the message light and polite. Avoid sounding frustrated or demanding. Example: "Hi Emma, just wanted to follow up in case my previous message got lost. No rush at all. Hope you're doing well." This approach shows patience and professionalism. Turning follow-ups into opportunities. When done well, follow-ups naturally lead to coffee chats, collaboration opportunities, mentorship relationships, job referrals, long-term partnerships. Example: "If you're open to it, I'd love to continue this conversation over a short coffee chat sometime." Notice how respectful and optional this feels. You're opening a door, not pushing someone through it. Common mistakes to avoid. Let's quickly cover what not to do. Generic copy-paste messages. Asking for favors too early. Over-communicating. Making every message about your needs. Disappearing for years and reappearing only when you need something. Strong connections are built on mutual respect and consistency. A simple habit for you to practice. After every meaningful interaction, ask yourself, what is one small action I can take to stay connected? Then do it. Send the message, share the resource, or schedule the follow-up. Small actions, done consistently, create powerful networks over time. Final thought for you. Networking doesn't end with meeting people. That's where it begins. Following up and maintaining connections is not about being strategic or manipulative. It's about being human, thoughtful, and reliable. If you master this skill, you won't just build a network, you'll build relationships that support your growth for years to come. Think of this as a friendly conversation between us, not a formal lecture. By the end of this lesson, I want you to feel comfortable, confident, and even curious about starting conversations with people you don't know very well. What is small talk, and why does it matter? Small talk is light, informal conversation. It's not about deep topics or impressive ideas. It's about connection. Many people think small talk is shallow, awkward, a waste of time. In reality, small talk is the gateway to meaningful communication. Small talk helps you build trust, reduce tension, create first impressions, open the door to deeper conversations. Think of it like a warm-up before exercise. You don't start running at full speed, you warm up first. Where small talk shows up in real life. Small talk happens everywhere, often when we least expect it. At work, before meetings, during breaks, networking events, elevators, waiting rooms, coffee lines, online meetings, those first 2 to 3 minutes, social gatherings. Example: Hi everyone, before we start the meeting, how's everyone's week going so far? That simple sentence breaks silence, lowers stress, makes people feel human. The purpose of small talk, it's not to be brilliant. Let me say this clearly. The goal of small talk is not to impress. The goal is to connect. Good small talk makes the other person feel comfortable, shows interest, not intelligence, creates a positive emotional tone. Bad small talk feels forced, turns into a monologue, focuses only on yourself. Great small talk topics, safe and effective. When in doubt, stick to neutral, shared, and present topics. Environment. Talk about what's happening around you. This place is really busy today. I like how relaxed this office feels. Work or context. Especially useful in professional settings. How did you get involved in this project? Is this your first time at this event? Time-based topics. How's your week been so far? Any plans for the weekend? Light personal interests. Have you watched anything good lately? Do you listen to podcasts or music while working? These questions are open-ended, which means they invite conversation. Topics to avoid, especially early on. Some topics can quickly create discomfort. Politics, religion, money and salary, health issues, personal criticism. Early small talk should feel safe and easy, not risky. The secret skill, listening more than talking. Here's something many people miss. Small talk is not about what you say, it's about how well you listen. Good listeners don't interrupt, respond naturally, ask follow-up questions. Example: Person A: I've been really busy with a new project. Good response: Oh, interesting. What kind of project is it? Bad response: Yeah, I'm always busy too. Last week I had 3 deadlines. The second response kills the connection. How to start small talk. Simple openers. You don't need creative genius. You need simplicity. Here are easy starters. Hi, how are you today? What brings you here? How do you know the organizer? Is it your first time working with this team? The tone matters more than the words. Say it calmly, with genuine interest. How to keep the conversation going. Use the ABA method. Ask a question. Listen. Add a small related comment. Example: How long have you been working here? About 3 years. Oh, nice. That's a good amount of time. What do you enjoy most about it? This feels natural and balanced. How to exit small talk gracefully. You don't need to escape awkwardly. Polite exits. It was really nice talking to you. I'm going to grab a coffee, but great meeting you. I'll let you get back to your work. Ending well is just as important as starting well. Common small talk mistakes. Let's be honest, we all make these sometimes. Overthinking every sentence, talking too much, trying to be funny or smart, fearing silence. Silence is not failure. Sometimes a pause is just a pause. Practice mindset. Small talk is a skill, not a personality trait. You don't need to be extroverted, funny, loud. You only need to be curious, respectful, present. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Final thought for you. Small talk is not small at all. It's the first brick in building relationships, trust, and influence. In your daily life, I encourage you to start one small conversation a day. Focus on listening. Be kind to yourself if it feels awkward.